This hearing is entitled Decades of Dysfunction, Restoring Accountability at HUD.
How severe is the fraud risk at HUD?
It's significant. Many of HUD's programs are decentralized in terms of how the money moves. So it moves from HUD to a grantee, to a sub-grantee, to a contractor. Each time it goes through a layer, the risk of improper payments and fraud increases.
The City of Stuart Community Development Block Grant Program, CDBG, is funded by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development and administered by FloridaCommerce. HUD provides CDBG funds to Florida. FloridaCommerce distributes these funds as subgrants to eligible local governments for eligible projects, such as housing rehabilitation. Local governments often contract with grant management firms to handle the administration of these projects. Under the contract between the city and Guardian CRM, Mr. Jenkins assists the city with the contractor vetting, the CDBG scope of work write-ups, oversees bidding, approves contractors' work and pay authorization. He also reviews mortgage and construction contracts. Guardian CRM and the contractors are paid with the CDBG funds. Guardian CRM also assists the city with Tier 2 site-specific review, a mandatory environmental compliance review that must be completed for each individual property before any hard costs, actual rehabilitation, is incurred for that specific site. The review ensures compliance with specific laws such as historic preservation, lead-based paint hazard, noise hazard.
Over the years, HUD has struggled to incorporate common sense accountability measures into its programs. Why is that?
Many of the programs are designed for flexibility, and anytime flexibility is introduced in the use of funding, it creates opportunities for it to be misused. It's a difficult balance between flexible grant programs for communities and trying to put internal controls in place to make sure that the money is spent appropriately.
On November 26, 2025, a year after the City of Stuart released the funds, City Attorney Begg wrote to the Hamiltons, the work that Patriot performed on the structural components of the roof were never approved in a change order and never approved by the project manager. But how and why the City of Stuart released the taxpayers' money to Patriot Response Group for work that was neither approved nor inspected? Who signed the change order above the line Guardian Community Resource Management, a firm contracted by the city to assist with the grant? Who forged Mr. Hamilton's signature on that change order sent to the Hamiltons by CRA Director Gandhi Savdas? A month later, after the building department closed the roof permit on July 2, 2024, and the contractor was removed from the Hamiltons project on July 26, 2024. The building department official removed several files from the permit activity record on August 14, 2024. The files were removed from the permit activity record 5 hours later on the same day, after the Hamiltons notified the city administration and building department that the contractor improperly installed the wrong hurricane ties, failed to install the roof ridge vent system according to the CDBG scope of work, and did not complete the fascia, and the Hamiltons requested to reopen the roof permit. And the next day, on August 15, 2024, Guardian Community Resource Management wrote to the Hamiltons, "The only action being taken at this time is the official dissolution of the agreement between you, the Hamiltons, and the contractor, Patriot Response Group. This will allow avoidance of any mechanical liens that the contractor will have a legal right to impose, should just due payment not be rendered. Once an item has passed a final inspection, any appeals protocol is separate and apart from the program." City Manager Mortel was coercing the Hamiltons to sign the contract voluntarily dissolution. Furthermore, the city administration and Guardian CRM sought to use the remaining CDBG funds, allocated for the rehabilitation, to hire another contractor to remedy the destructive and fraudulent work by Patriot Response Group. The Hamiltons refused to sign the papers to cover up the improper payment. On October 18, 2024, FloridaCommerce notified the city and Guardian Community Resource Management that work completed might not be eligible for reimbursement with federal funds. But, on November 4, 2024, Patriot Response Group filed a fraudulent lien before the State Historic Preservation Office completed the evaluation of the work done on the Hamilton's historical building. On November 7, 2024, CRA Director Misgandhi Savdas, who is also the CDBG project manager on the city's behalf, Guardian Community Resource Management, Patriot Response Group, signed the document falsely stating contract voluntarily dissolved. Misgandhi Savdas released the payment for the amateurish installation of the 17 replacement windows, which all have to be removed, according to Specialty Engineering Services and Solutions, and to the State Historic Preservation Office. But Guardian CRM determined that the replacement windows installed by Patriot Response Group were 85% complete, and the city maintained that the work was done correctly and in accordance with all requirements. Misgandhi Savdas released the full amount for the roof without any deduction for the roof ridge vent system. The payment to Patriot Response Group also included the changed order number 1 with the homeowner's forged signature and the work that was not even approved by the project management, according to the city attorney. The Hamiltons were deprived of their right to the contractor final affidavit before the city released the funds.
We were authorized by FloridaCommerce to make that payment.
The Hamiltons' signatures were not even required.
And they authorized us to pay it without their signature.
The city is not being asked to expend additional funds.
No.
Is that correct?
Correct.
On November 26, 2024, FloridaCommerce wrote to the Hamiltons, FloridaCommerce does not consider the payment that was made to Patriot Response Group to be an eligible use of CDBG funds at this time. But on December 12, 2024, CRA Director Gandhi Savdas wrote to the Hamiltons that FloridaCommerce directed the city to pay with the CDBG matching funds, and on August 25, 2025, City Manager Mortel stated,
We used the administrative matching funds. It was the $50,000 that the city put in as the matching funds, and the $750,000 that we got was all commingled at the direction of FloridaCommerce.
That's paid from our
It doesn't
the match,
matter.
right?
It does matter. Leverage funds shall only be expended on eligible activities for the program category that is being funded to qualify for scoring. The leveraged activities must meet the LMI national objective. Shoddy, destructive, incomplete, and even fraudulent work is not in the CDBG eligible activities list.
The concern that we have is that HUD doesn't require grantees to report to them or track how they use match funds. HUD needs to collect more information about payments made at the ground level to prevent taxpayer funds from being spent improperly. Having better data related to payments and subrecipient level activities is necessary to target fraud schemes proactively.
When and why has FloridaCommerce determined that the payment made to Patriot Response Group was an eligible use of CDBG matching funds? Why did the city of Stuart deny the Hamiltons' requests for re-inspections? Why did the government was coercing the Hamiltons to sign the contract voluntarily dissolution, stating that the consideration provided and received by all is fair, just, and reasonable, and release the payment without conducting any investigation into the lien and destructive work on the federally funded program? Why does the government intend to use the remaining balance of the Hamiltons' funds allocated for rehabilitation to remedy the destructive and fraudulent work performed by Patriot Response Group?
We do have the remaining balance for the Hamiltons project. So far, we've requested $37,000 from FloridaCommerce for reimbursement,
Who will pay for the damages inflicted by the contractor?
$43,000 remaining for reimbursement.
And what is the source of this reimbursement money from the state, if not taxpayers?
Accountability is in short supply, and a lack of transparency has eroded public trust. While HUD faces many challenges, its minimal oversight of programs and grantees also raises serious concerns.
There is damage done to the home. Where your program works is that if we can't resolve it in the field, it does come back to the city.
Mr. Martel, do we exercise any supervisory control over the contractors?
Zero. Building inspector goes out and inspects it, but it's not related to the CDBG.
City and the government love status quo. And part of the status quo is a lot of times turning your head to a problem or sticking your head in the sand and just ignoring it.
Even after the Hamiltons notified the city of Stuart CDBG project management that Patriot Response Group inflicted damages to the historical building, neither the city nor Guardian CRM disclosed the December 2023 State Historic Preservation Office letter to the Hamiltons. The Hamiltons learned about the SHPO December 2023 letter almost a year later. The State Historic Preservation Office provided the Hamiltons with a copy of the November 22, 2024 letter stating, Ms. Gandhi Savdas, the completed work does not conform to the Secretary of the Interior's standards for the treatment of historic properties and does not meet the conditions set forth by this office in our 2023 letter.
The contractor says, look, we didn't know that he had a historic preservation restriction.
On December 10, 2024, the City of Stuart CDBG project manager with authority to act on the city's behalf with respect to all aspects of the project, CRA Director Ms. Gandhi Savdas, stated to the Hamiltons, it is not required to provide the building department with the State Historic Preservation Office letter.
Antonio Jenkins failed, and he absolutely stood in front of us as board members and lied.
The roof has passed the building department inspection, and it has what they call a Cobra-styled ridge vent.
Because it has a Cobra vent in it.
There is no ridge vent system there. I did my own due diligence. They don't make a ridge vent system for a standing seam metal roof, by the way, or any metal roof at all.
Regardless of what you find or what we find, unless we can get rid of those who are doing these wasteful spending of taxpayer dollars, we're never going to do anything.
Who forged Mr. Hamilton's signature on that change order sent to the Hamiltons by CRA Director Gandhi Savdas? And who is responsible for falsifying the dates on the photographs attached to that change order? Are there more shady documents in the federally funded Small Cities CDBG Hamiltons file that the homeowners do not even know about? Wouldn't that be a legitimate concern? Federally funded programs are matters of public concern. Visit the Hamiltons website aroundabout.us for more information, documents, and correspondence. Follow the Hamiltons CDBG Project, Stuart, Florida Facebook page for updates.